Good morning, dear students. Today's your class is Sports Engineering, MP at third semester. Today we will start the basic introduction about the sports engineering and what is the role of the sports engineering in the field of physical education and sports sciences. And before the start of this topic, we will discuss about what is the role of the physical educationist in sports engineering. If you are the part of the team of the sports engineer, what is your prime responsibility? This is the very important questions for you. And now let's start with the meanings of each word. What is the number one is the sports. Sports, simple the winning activity in which we involve the physical exertion or physical intervention. And it's very common definition. And engineering is the technical application of math, physics to solve the problems. The engineering to play the very important role to solve the problem of the human being with the application of the principle of physics, principle of mathematics. In combining the two words, we easily define the sports engineering. The sports engineering is the technical application of math and physics to solve the sport related problem or solve the sporting problems. The sports engineering, simple, the application of technical application of the principle of engineering to solve the problem of sports and exercise science. These might be including the designing the equipment, building facilities, analysis of athletic performance, regulating the standard, ensuring the safety requirement are met, and developing the coaching tools for the coaches, and different coaches use different coaching tools to development of the training programs. Next thing is what is the sports engineer? Many of us here to come from the mechanical engineer background, but some of us are physics, some of us from the sports biomechanics, computer scientist and mathematicians, aeronautical engineer, but all of us are applying our skill in the world of sports. In other words, the different discipline of the engineering science and engineerings they puts our skill to solve the problem of sports and exercise sciences. There's the engineer, the sports engineer, they play the very important role to solve the problem, the sports, which is related to the sports and exercise science. The thing is, the sports engineer are responsible in designing and building of new equipment based on the athletic demand, beside the measuring the performance of athlete. For example, the equipment itself as well as their interaction. It is without a doubt that the engineering and technology have played an important role, not only in improving the performance of an athlete, but also in making the sports more entertaining and more fun. Sports engineer are also the individual who conduct his studies in design and build of new equipment based on the requirement of the athlete and coaches and sports scientists. The goals of the behavior of the equipments, the athlete, their interaction in the control environments. Besides, they are also the model and simulate the focus, the acting on athlete and their equipments. These means the modeling and simulation and the forces acting on the athlete as well as the equipment which is used by the athlete during the performance, that is called finite element analysis. Second thing is the simulations of the airflow to the equipments and around the equipments of the which is used during the performance, that is called the computational fluid dynamics. Sports engineering can be considered as a new discipline of the engineering science, and they are also help the making this help the work just like they help it's bridge the gap between the two distinguished fields, sports science and sports engineering. And sports science is the study of the disciplines such as the anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, psychology as they relate to the sporting performance. And sports engineering, it's very important things to define the differences between the sports science and sports engineering. Sports science work to the athlete, within the athlete. For example, how his muscles is working, how the motor components is developed, how the oxygen consumptions in the athletes during the performance, how the cardiorespiratory function is working, how to enhance the endurance capacity, how to develop the strength, and analysis of motion, how to develop the motor component. And this means the sports science work within the athlete, work in the athletes. But the sports engineering, they play the very important role. They work the outside the athletes. They help to the athlete with the equipments which is outside from the athlete. For example, equipment, training equipment, safety equipment, devices, electronic devices, sensors, and they are also help to training and analysis of the performance and enhancement of the performance. So this is the very important topic, which is very important to understand the differences between the sports science and sports engineering. Second thing is the basic, what is the history of the engineering science and engineering in sports. The term of the sports engineering was come into the existence in 1990, but from the historical standpoint, its inception has existed as far back, maybe the 3 centuries before and ago. The Newton's, the remark on the flight mechanics of a tennis ball in 1600 around 70 may indirectly be regarded as the earliest contribution of engineering to the field of the sports science. The theories regarding the ball spinning properties were developed by the different scientists in different eras. In the Hague, they developed in the 18th centuries, and like in 19th centuries, they developed of different spinning properties of the spinning ball. So this is the earlier contribution of the sports science. This 20th century witnessed the utilization of Hawkeye technology. The Hawkeye technology is helped to change the scenario of different games. Our advanced ball tracking system, this is called the advanced ball tracking system. This is what developed by the Sony, that is the United Kingdom, by Hawkins. The technology was the first used by the Channel 4 during the test match between the England and Pakistan on Lords, maybe around 2000 and 2001. It is used to preliminarily by the majority of the television network to track the trajectory of the ball, and generally used the Hawkeye technology by the Third Empire during the games, and the trajectory, and simulate the ball positions and find out the exact location of the ball at the time of a contact to the wickets. That play the very important role in the game and sports. The impact of the sports engineering in sports. This is a very important topic. In sports, it is without doubt that the engineering and technology have played an important role, not only the improving the performance of an athlete, coaches and training, but also the important is the making the sports more entertaining, more safe, more accessible. There are huge number of technology being applied in a different sports, different training program, different of the sports rehabilitation program also. Hence, to name a few, we have categorized the technology applied in the sports in 4 different categories. Number 1 is the material science and material engineering. Second is the computational modeling and instrumentation, as well as the designing and ergonomics. The ergonomics and designing, they play the very important role. This is the material science. The material science, that is called the material engineering in sports, including the development of new textile material that are used in the sportswear, invention of new material to be used in sports equipment, and development of new material for the sports playing surface. And the textile material for example, just swimsuit, for as a recent example of textile engineering in sports that produced significant impact on the performance of the swimming. And due to after the textile science involved in the swimming suits, they are the very huge impact on the performance of the swimmer and athletes. As a part of the textile, the invention of composite material has also produced significant impact on this sport, just like the pole vault is one of the recent example. In 1900 Olympic, the pole vault, the world record is 3.3 meter. In 1994, the duration is 94 years and the world record is 6.14 meter. And this is the huge improvement in the performance in pole vault. Total improvement is the performance is 86% due to only by the result of material science. Early the vaulting poles were made by the solid wood. It was heavy, it's the limit the speed of the athlete, it's limit the momentum, it's they are reduced and slow down the launching velocity. But the recently the involvement of the material science, the performance changed dramatically. The biggest improvement in jumping height came in 1960, first time with the introduction of fiberglass pole in the pole vault. The fiberglass pole were more flexible, light in weight, enable various fibers lay up the orientation that increase the twisting resistance. This play the very important role in the pole vault performance. The fiberglass and after that later the carbon fiber poles are used by all athlete and today, and for many are considered the biggest technological development in athletics. So this is the different technological development in athletic performance. Next thing is the instrumentation, and instrumentation is about the measurement and control science, in which for example instrumentation engineering is this engineering of the specialization focus on the design and configuration of process system. Instrumentation are devices which are used in the measurement of attributes of process system. Instrumentation is the science that involves the sensor, electronic component, also play the major role in advancement of the sports to a whole new levels. For instance, the video technology that assists the official decision in, for example, the third referees, third umpires, the review the decision of the field umpires during the games. For a prominent example of will be the Hawkeye technology system used in the tennis and cricket. Hawkeye used the network of on court and ground with the different cameras to track the trajectory of the ball and use modeling technique to predict where it's lane and where it's contact in the tennis and the cricket. Hawkeye was introduced 2001 and 2000 and 2001 in cricket and 2005 in tennis. Another recent example of instrumentation in sports is the laser timing technology for cycling. It's very important. Previously used the brake beam system was unable to differentiate between the individual cyclist racing around the track at the same period of time. Around the 30 cyclists cycling in the one track. So it's very difficult to track the location of each and every cyclist. The laser timing technology help to track each and every individuals during this cycling event. For example, and the instrumentation equipments helped in a two different way. Number one is the training, second one in the competition. The training and the competition is 2 and 4 different sectors. Number one is the athletes, second the coach, third is the spectators, fourth is the engineer. The training is used for 2, 3 and 4 in all. For example, the athletes, the biofeedback training, optimization of the performance and consistency of the performance, and the helpful for the coaches in the performance analysis. Spectators for information, data via television and others mediums and social media also, and engineer also help with our science and your technical application of our knowledge to optimization of the equipment, testing of the performance, testing of the equipment, redesigning of the equipment, development of latest equipments, and to change the entire scenario. Next thing is the ergonomics. Ergonomics play a very important role. They are also help for the workstation of each and every individuals and the scientific discipline concerned with the understanding of interaction among the human and other element of a system, and the profession that applies the theory, principles, method and data to design in order to optimize human well-being and overall system performance. For example, the ergonomics you can easily define with fitting with the job's work. The athlete is fitting his or performance area with the help of the equipment of the ergonomics work stations. They will provide the tools, they will provide the different equipments. There also come from two different words, ergo and nomos, the work with laws. This is the help in a different sectors. Ergonomics help to safety, ergonomics provide the comforts, ergonomics provides to use of the different equipment, productivity and performance enhancements, and aesthetics, different equipments and performance. Ergonomics in the games give to the science of relating the human being and the environment around him. Ergonomics seek to develop the optimal investigation or integration at every practical moment. For example, for the work relation, study and the sports. It seeks to optimize the way we perform in activity using the equipment, instrument and machines. The aim of the science is to exist the comforts, safety, optimization of the sport performance as well as well-being. The ergonomics in sports is a design and improve the athletic performance, profitability in the medium to long terms. It is necessary to try to apply the ergonomics in sports and the challenges in the development of the equipment in the face of the athletes, evaluation and the demand of the events. Sports engineering and technology have an important role not to play in sports. New technology can keep alive and relevant. Sports engineering has made the things that we 10 years ago might think impossible and possible. For instance, the controversy of Pictorius, the fastest man on the earth without legs. Imagine, the new technology help him to compete, to give your optimum performance at the very high level, that due to the sports engineering.